Hey, good morning, boys and girls. Mr. Baxter's Learning Channel is your place to be. And I'm so glad that you are here with me. It is Wednesday, May the 6th, 2020. And speaking of a bee, or my friend Cosmo, today we are going to be doing a science lesson, friends, about our living things that are animals. You see, Mr. Baxter's got his camel shirt on. Got my man Cosmo right here with me. Bees on the wall. I've got Mabel and Rickety Tickety. They're holding some books about animals. So we have got our minds going. Let's zoom ourselves in and talk about where we're going and how we will get there. Yeah. Let's zoom. There you go. There you go. All right. Can we see? Yeah, we can. Now we're cooking with fire and grease and all the things that are hot. Where are we going, boys and girls? Today, I can classify animals. Whoa, classifying animals. That is a big science word right there. Classifying means to put them in groups like of things that are alike. We know that as sorting. You know, like our math term, sorting. So we're going to classify animals, talking about their habitat. Does that make you think, Talking about their covering, and talking about their movement style. 3 ways we're going to classify animals. How we're going to get there, or how we'll show what we know is I will sort animals by where they live. That's their habitat. Their outer layer, okay, so what they're covered in, what they have on the outside of them, that's their covering, and how they move, or their movement style. Some of them are going to slither, some of them are going to fly, some of them are going to walk, and some of them are going to crawl. All right, so we're going to be classifying these animals. All right, so let's take a quick look. That's the different ways that we'll be. All right, zoomer back. There. All right, now, like I said, we've got our friend Rickety Tickety here. We've got our friend Mabel. Rickety Tickety is a bumblebee. Mabel is an elephant. Both of these things are living things. These are fake. They're stuffed animals. Mabel helps us learn our phonics. Rickety Tickety helps us learn everybody's name, right? But they are stuffed animals, all right? But they are actual little depictions of actual living things, right? This is a bumblebee. Here is an elephant. Like I said, man, Cosmo's down here on the floor sleeping, but Cosmo is a dog. Mr. Baxter is a human. All of these things are animals. That we're all part of our living things category, animals. All right, so look, Rickety Tickety's holding a book about honeybees. Honeybees are living things. They are a living thing known as an insect or bugs. Mabel is holding a book about, look at the zoo babies. On the cover, there is a panda bear, right? Panda bears are mammals. Some panda bears live in the zoo. Some panda bears' habitat is the jungle. All right, so what I've got, guys, is look, I wanted to show you there are so many different ways that we can classify living things, all right? Look at all the different nonfiction books that there are written about living things. Fishy tales, just about things that live in the ocean. What? Penguins, cold area, cold habitat. A bird doesn't fly, right? Look, panda bears, frogs, dogs, fish. What's this? Kitty cats, polar bears, all kinds of bears, whales. We know this one. Dragonflies. All of these books, guys, are nonfiction books just about one kind of animal. Now, Fishy Tales has a bunch of different animals that live in the ocean. But look, they can fill up books just like this about one animal. Well, guess what? We're going to take a look at a book that Mr. Baxter has given you in your epic book box so that we can talk about classifying animals. It's going to be all about how to classify animals, about where they live, what they've got on the outside of their bodies, and how they move, okay? We won't be just taking a look at one animal. We're going to look at how to talk about all animals, all right? Let's go on an epic journey together. Are you with me? Sweet. All right. ukulele out of the way. Open up the Epic website. Boys and girls, I really hope you're using your Epic book box because there are so many cool books that Mr. Baxter has put on there for you. All right? The book that we're going to be looking at today is called Let's Classify Animals. Right. Why not? Why in the world would we not classify animals? All right? So look, here's how it's going to look on your Epic book box. All right? There's the cover, and we are going to read through this together. All right? I'm going to see if I can get us set up nicely. All right, we're going to move this down here so that we get a better look. Okay? All right, so let's classify animals. Here's our table of contents. We're going to be talking about the different species. Here's classifying animals right here, sorting them into different groups, all right? Show what you know. Hey, we know all about that, right? We can show what we know, all right? And then our glossary, which is where we'll talk about the important words, right? And then our index. All right, so let's go to our next page. Here we go, sorting species. Did you know there are millions of different kinds of animals or species? Look at that bold word. I bet species is an important word when talking about animals. Did you know there are millions of different kinds of animals or species living on the earth? Scientists study these species and classify or sort them into groups, just like you are going to do today. You will be a scientist. Look at this little label. All over the world, scientists search the land and sea in order to discover new species. Ooh, polar bear, tarantula, a pit viper, a grasshopper. So look, guys, to classify different species into groups, scientists study what makes species similar and what makes them different. Similar means the same. Let's take a closer look. All right, so here's how we classify animals. I know that because look at that heading right there. That tells me what we're getting ready to talk about. All the animals that have hair or fur on their bodies are in the same group. So we're talking about the coverings, right? They are warm-blooded animals and give live birth to their youngs. Their babies drink milk from their mothers. How do we classify these critters? Like a cute baby goat. They are mammals. Elephants, like Mabel, polar bears, and goats are mammals. People are mammals too. So mammals are warm-blooded. We give birth to live young, and the babies drink milk from their mother. Look at the cute elephants and polar bears. There's another group of warm-blooded animals. These critters in this group have feathers and wings instead of hair or fur. So they have feathers and they have wings as their covering instead of skin or fur. Their babies hatch from eggs. How do we classify these critters? Look, there's a penguin with a little penguin chick. They are birds. Hummingbirds, cardinals, and penguins are all birds. They live in different parts of the world, but they all belong to the same group. That's a cardinal. And there's a hummingbird. Birds are warm-blooded. Their babies hatch from eggs, and they have feathers. Some critters have scales instead of fur or feathers. They are cold-blooded animals. See the difference? Warm-blooded and cold-blooded. And they have dry skin. Most lay eggs. How do we classify these critters? Ooh, what are these guys called? It looks like snakes, the pit viper. Let's see. What do we call them? They are reptiles. Crocodiles, chameleons, and snakes are reptiles. Look there. Oh, that croc. So they're cold-blooded. Their babies hatch from eggs, and they have scales. Now, here's a frog. Don't get confused and think a frog is a reptile. Some animals live both on land and in the water. Ooh, so now we're talking about that habitat or where they live. They are cold-blooded like reptiles, but have moist skin instead of dry skin. They lay eggs. Some have webbed feet. How do we classify these critters? Like the Amazon leaf frog? They are amphibians. That means they live in the water and on land. Frogs, toads, and salamanders, are all amphibians. Cold-blooded, babies hatch from eggs, and they live on land and water. Now, not all animals breathe above the water. Some breathe underwater with gills. They have scales and fins. They are cold-blooded, and some lay eggs. Look at the picture. Start learning from that picture. How do we classify these critters? Well, look, they are fish. Did you know that sharks are fish? They belong in the same group with trout, salmon, and even little guppies. Fish are cold-blooded. They have scales and fins, and they breathe underwater with their gills. There is a group of animals that belong together because they don't have a backbone, like octopus. They are invertebrates. Octopus, earthworms, and even snails are all invertebrates. The word invertebrate means they do not have a backbone. Some invertebrates are grouped together because they have multiple body parts and 6 or more legs. What type of animals do you think these are? How do we classify these critters? They are insects, like us, like the bees. Insects and arachnids. Bees, grasshoppers, and beetles are all insects. They have no backbone, they have 6 legs, and they have antennae. Spiders and scorpions are arachnids, meaning they have no backbones, but they have 8 legs, and they have no antenna. All right, so look here. Show what you know. Remember what some of the characteristics of the mammals were? Well, hold that thought because we have a seesaw activity today, guys. All right, so what I want you to do with your seesaw activity today is you are going to sort these animals. All right, I've given you 3 options. We want to call it a choice board, but hey, Baxter Bees, you want to really show what you know? Try to sort through all 3 of these. All right, I'm going to do a couple of them with you. Look, the first page is talking all about their habitat. Remember, we were talking about habitat or where they live. That's the first way we will show what we know. So, some of our animals we have over here is a sloth, an Arctic bunny, polar bear. We've got a dolphin and a monkey. Look, and your choices are the grasslands or kind of your desert area, your jungle where you're going to find trees, and then the Arctic. The Arctic is white because that's where you're going to find all your snow and ice. And then down here says the water or the ocean. What you're going to do is you're going to use your move tool and you're going to move the animals to where they live. All right? I want to see what you guys know. I know that this polar bear lives in the Arctic. I know that this dolphin, I'm going to put it over here. You know, if you ever have that problem, guys, you can do order and say bring to front, and then it'll show up. All right? That's what those little dots on the side are for. That's why I'm glad we do these together. What about a giraffe? Well, the giraffe lives on the grasslands. So we will put the giraffe right here. And I know that a monkey lives in the jungle, right? So I can put the monkey over in the jungle. Now there's a lot more over here to do, but those are up to you. I want to do a couple of these with you. The second page, it says sort the animals based on how they move. Remember, some animals crawl, some animals walk, some animals fly, some slither. So here it says animals that swim, animals that fly, and animals that walk. All of the animals here will swim like a shark. All of the animals here will fly like a parrot. And all of the animals here will walk like a gorilla or a deer. All right, I want you to move these to the correct area, sort them based on how they move. That was our third way we'll show what we know, how they move or their movement style. Great job. And page 3 talks about sort the animals based on the outer layer of their body. We know that as their covering or the outer layer. So we're talking about what we find on the outside of them. Do they have skin? Or do they have animals with a shell? Animals with fur? Animals with scales? And animals with feathers? Well, look here. Animals with a shell. A lobster has a shell. Animals with fur. Aw, that cute little otter has fur. Animals with scales. Guys, we know those reptiles have scales, right? My man, RY, there you go. Turtles have scales. But turtles also have a shell. I'm going to put that one in the middle. I'm going to put that one in the middle so I can put an alligator here with the ones that have scales. Don't get tricked. There's no wrong answer with that turtle right there, okay? You can put them where you want. And last, animals that have feathers. Well, look here. Peacocks have big, beautiful feathers. So we'll move all of our birds over to this. All right? Guys, that's what your seesaw activity is going to look like today. I want you to sort through. You have a choice. You can do 1, you can do 2, or you can be a brave bee and you can do all 3 and show what you know. All right? All right, so that is our science lesson for May the 6th, 2020. This is Mr. Baxter right here on a safari. Can't wait to see you guys showing me what you know, classifying those animals, sorting them into groups based off of their habitat or where they live, their covering or what's on the outside of them, and their movement style. Right? Look, speaking of their covering, here's my boy, and he is covered with fur. So Cosmo is a mammal. He likes to lick Mr. Baxter, and he walks. All right? Boys and girls, have a wonderful Wednesday. Let's get those science brains going. Baxter, out.